The film kicks off with Ray King, who used to be the deputy director at Finson, sitting at a bar on bingo night. He's having a drink when a young woman named Anyas walks up to him. While they're chatting, some guys working for a man named Burke are keeping an eye on them. Ray shows Anyas a picture of the Sanchez family from El Salvador, thinking she might be involved with them. She assumes he wants her to kill them, but he clarifies that he's actually trying to track them down for Edith's father. Ray, realizing he's being watched, scribbles something on his arm and tries to escape. He fights off two of Burke's men before chaos erupts in the bar. As Ray dashes into the street, Cobb, Burke's right-hand man, shoots him dead. After Ray's death, Mary Beth Medina, the current deputy director of Finson and Ray's emergency contact, heads to the morgue to identify his body. When she sees the words "Find the accountant" written on his arm, it sparks something in her. Meanwhile, Christian Wolf, the accountant, is in touch with his handler Justin before heading into a speed dating event. At first, the women seem eager to talk to him, but their interest quickly fizzles out after they interact with him. Christian uses his own algorithm to analyze compatibility, but his blunt comments about not believing in love at first sight, having no friends or pets, and living in an Airstream turn the women off. Mary Beth starts investigating Ray's last few cases, digging into his notes. She finds connections to Christian and reaches out to a neuroscience academy linked to him. On the other end of the line, Justin overhears the news about Ray's death. At the same time, Burke and Cobb are discussing Ray and Anyas at their work site. They realize that Anyas is the same woman who once interrupted a meeting Burke was having. She killed 3 of his men, but spared him. Burke sends Cobb to Fort Worth to clean up any loose ends and make sure no one is poking around in their operations. Later, Mary Beth is found by Christian in a parking lot. They go through Ray's photos and research, discovering pictures of dead Chilean ex-special forces and attacks returned for Edith Sanchez. They uncover that Edith's father, Emiliano Gonzalez, was murdered in Fort Worth. The next day, Chris and Mary Beth visit a pizza factory to talk to the manager, Ike, who allegedly had connections to Edith. Ike isn't forthcoming, so Chris digs into his own research, accusing Ike of being involved in money laundering. Ike gets in Chris's face, which leads to Chris twisting his finger and easily taking down a few of Ike's employees when they try to intervene. Ike eventually admits that he gets money from a man named Thomas, who's involved in trafficking women in a high-end Berlin hotel. Christian's brother Braxton is trying to adopt a corgi puppy, but hits a snag when the adoption agent refuses to release the dog before the scheduled time. Later, while Braxton is on a mission to eliminate some targets, he gets a call from Chris asking for help. Although Braxton is upset over their broken relationship and the fact that Chris hasn't reached out in 8 years, he eventually agrees to meet. Braxton joins Chris and Mary Beth at a motel, where they wait for 3 prostitutes. The women exchange information about Thomas for money, but they're terrified. 2 leave, but one stays and demands extra cash to escape Thomas. The men wait for Thomas to show up, and when he does, Braxton knocks him off a balcony and onto a car, knocking him out. They stuff him into Mary Beth's trunk. She's annoyed at the mess, but Chris has Justin use his hacking skills to manipulate traffic, ensuring they won't be stopped by any cops. Mary Beth soon learns about the deaths of Emiliano Gonzalez and Edith's husband, Gino, and the disappearance of their son, Alberto. The next day, she joins Chris and Braxton as Chris gets in touch with Justin for more help. Mary Beth tries to convince Chris that a friend of hers from Homeland Security, who has a PhD in computer science, has access to critical databases. She reveals that only 2 security cameras were working the night Ray was killed. Meanwhile, Justin has his team of hackers scan surveillance footage across Los Angeles to track down Anyas. They find footage of a woman named Pamela taking a selfie that accidentally captured Anyas. The hackers dig into Pamela's laptop, retrieving the photo just in time to confirm that Anyas was at the scene and has been involved in global assassinations targeting criminal organizations. Mary Beth also uncovers that Braxton is responsible for some of the killings. This revelation causes her to part ways with the brothers and continue her investigation on her own. Later, Mary Beth and a lawyer meet with Thomas and his attorney. It's revealed that Ike has been killed, his body found with a rat stuffed into his throat. Before Thomas can agree to testify against his employers, Cobb eliminates both him and his lawyer with a sniper shot from a nearby building. While Chris and Braxton are working through their plans, Justin tips Chris off about an old car accident involving a woman, suggesting there might be more to the story than meets the eye. As they get closer to figuring things out, Chris and Braxton end up at a bar. It's there that Chris catches the eye of a waitress named Angie. The two get to chatting, and before long, they join others for a line dance. But things take a wild turn when Angie's ex-boyfriend shows up looking to cause trouble. Braxton steps in to help, and together, he and Chris take down the ex and his friends. Afterward, the two brothers quickly leave the scene, and Braxton can't help but feel proud of Chris, especially after Chris gets Angie's number. Back on the investigation, Mary Beth digs deeper into the mystery surrounding the woman from the car accident. She finds out that the woman had suffered severe trauma, lost her memory, and undergone facial reconstruction surgery. On top of that, the trauma had a strange side effect, granting her exceptional abilities like the ability to play chess at a genius level and, eventually, to kill. It turns out that the woman was Edith Sanchez, who later took on the identity of Agnes. At some point, Edith's violent side took over, and she attacked a guard, escaping the facility where she was being treated. Meanwhile, Braxton's boss, Batu, who runs Europe's largest assassination network and works for Burke, orders Braxton to take out Mary Beth. Chris finds out about the hit before it happens and races to save her. But Agnes beats him to the punch. It's then revealed that Batu had canceled Braxton's mission and sent Agnes to take care of it instead. The two women face off, and in the struggle, Agnes stabs Mary Beth in the abdomen before fleeing the scene. As Agnes is about to leave, she spots a photo of herself, taken when she was still Edith, with Gino and Alberto. The image triggers memories of her painful past, being trafficked by Burke's men and witnessing Gino's brutal murder. Chris finally shows up just in time to help Mary Beth, but as they regroup, Batu calls Burke to report that someone interfered with the hit. However, Batu reminds Burke that the contract is still active until Mary Beth is dead. In response, Burke orders Cobb and his men to round up the kidnapped children at their compound in Juarez, intending to execute all of them. With help from Justine, Chris and Braxton head to Juarez to rescue the kids. The villains are already loading the children onto a bus, but the brothers arrive just in time to open fire on the mercenaries guarding them. Cobb manages to drive the bus away after several of his men are killed. Chris gets Braxton into a van, and the two brothers chase after the bus, following it to a pit where the children are about to be executed. They take out more mercenaries, but Cobb is still on the bus with Alberto. Chris manages to board the bus while Braxton is in the back, and just as Cobb tries to sell out Burke, Chris and Braxton both shoot him. They then free the kids from the pit and drive the bus to safety. On the way, Braxton asks Chris to stop the bus to pick up a stray cat, which Chris finds amusing, especially since earlier he had told Braxton that he's more of a cat person. Meanwhile, Justine calls Badu, threatening to expose all of his secrets unless he cancels the hit on Mary Beth. She also contacts Agnes and gives her Burke's location. Batu, in turn, tells Burke that the contract has been voided. Burke, just getting out of the shower, realizes that Agnes is there. She grabs a large knife and follows him, determined to get her revenge. Mary Beth, now recovering, returns to her job and makes a call to express her gratitude to Justine for saving the children, saying that Ray would have been proud of her efforts. As for the young hackers, they're busy preparing a special room at their hideout for Alberto, who is being brought to them by Chris and Bra. On the road, Chris takes the opportunity to ask Braxton if he wants to go hiking together so they can finally spend some time as brothers. It's a moment that genuinely makes Braxton happy, and he agrees. If you like this video, don't be shy. Hit the like button. If you didn't like it, go ahead and hit the dislike button twice, just to make sure. And of course, watching the whole movie would be the best way to experience it. Thanks a lot for watching.